Well, hello, folks. It's Mike here. I just want to welcome you back to Mr. Cast Iron, and we've got another show for you tonight. We've got a special guest with us. It's Misty with Mama Z's Texas Kitchen, and we've been looking forward to this time to be able to kind of chat with her and check out her channel and the things that's going on in her life and everything. So we appreciate everybody showing up. So I'm going to go ahead and pull Misty on here. So hold on just a minute. Hey, Misty, how are you?
Hey everybody, how are y'all doing?
Doing good. I got Mrs. C.I. just walked in here. We got our Iowa shirts on today, so I know you're going to be asking me a question about something later on because we talked about it in email, so I was prepared for you.
I've got my Mama Z shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. I had my Mr. Cast Iron shirt on last night. I need to get some more made. The people that Teresa had the shirts made that did the embroidery, she wasn't real happy with the service or whatever, or the quality, I guess it was. I mean, it was kind of fine for me, but, you know, I'm kind of simple anyway. But she's wanting to try to get me some other ones made. And so hopefully we'll do that. Got a few people popping in the chat room here with us. Looks like Cooking with Stephen and Jacqueline. Hey, Stephen, while I'm thinking about it, Teresa reminded me something last night. I just want to tell you, man, I appreciate you moderating for us and all the things you do of posting on in the chat room for us. I forgot to tell you that last night. I was kind of torn between two places. I had two men there that I usually only have one person on, and I can kind of stay focused. But anyway, I just want to tell you, appreciate that, Stephen, for sure. Looks like Big Rob Barbecue Pit Dogs in before the kickoff, so good to have you, brother. Let's see, there's Laura's Kitchen there from up in Toronto. It's good to see Miss Laura. And, you know, I'm going to go ahead. Naturally, North Carolina's there. Good to have you. There's In the Kitchen with Karen and Papa Z. Boy, they're popping in here. But anyway, I just want to say real quick before we get started, guys, if you were on the show last night, you heard me tell about giveaway with Uncle Steve's Shake. And all you need to do is go back to that video where we did the interview with Big Rob and Uncle Steve and just leave a comment down in the bottom. And this is what will have to be put on in the comment. You've got to put this exactly in the comment. I want my hashtag Uncle Steve's Shake, and that enters you in the contest to win. And I'm going to do a drawing on February the 14th. And we're going to pick, we'll have the random picker pick someone, and Uncle Steve's going to send out 4 bottles of Shake. So you can't do that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting it down.
Okay. But, yeah, we'll have some bad feedback on that. But anyway, yeah, we're going to do a giveaway come the 14th. So you guys, whether you watched the video or not, be sure and go back over and leave us a comment, and we appreciate that. So anyway, enough of that. Also, if you're in the chat room and you have a question for Misty, be sure and type that in. I'm going to try to stay on top of the chat room and be able to pop those questions up for her. But I've got a few I want to run by her a little bit here in just a minute. But anyway, we just want to welcome you guys. Thank you for being here. You guys are awesome. You rock, and we love you, and we appreciate you all the time being here and supporting us. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. So how did you come up with Mama Z's Texas Kitchen?
Okay, well, it's kind of a... Originally, Mama Z's came from a good friend of mine, Danelle Knox, who, you know, I was trying to come up with a name for my jelly business. When I decided that I wanted to start making jelly and just for extra income, I was getting plums and stuff from my mom to make jelly. And I was having a hard time coming up with jelly. And about the same time, my oldest son started having children. And I'm like, you know, I don't like the name Granny or Grandma. I felt way, way too young to be a grandma. So she's like, you know, you ought to be just Mama Z. And I'm like, you know, I kind of like that name, you know, Mama Z. I like that. And then when I decided I wanted to start making jelly, I thought, Mama Z's Jellies. I like that for a business name. Well, then when I decided I was going to do a YouTube channel, which is a story in itself, that I was going, that translated on into Mama Z's Texas Kitchen. So I decided that was going to be the name of my channel, was Mama Z's Texas Kitchen. So it started out as the name of my jelly business, and then it carried on into my YouTube channel.
Yeah. So you're down, if I remember right, you're down toward Houston, is that right?
I am in Conroe, Texas, about
Conroe.
30 miles north of Houston, Texas.
Wow. What's the weather like down there today?
It is sunny and warm. It's in the 70s, I believe.
Yeah, that's cool. It's about 25 here in Arkansas today for some reason.
I know, and I was
Snow.
carrying on. I have a Marco group. A couple of them I've seen are in here. D naturally, and C for there. I was crying last night pretty heavily about it's supposed to be cold again on Valentine's. I'm like, I have friends in Ohio. I'm like, you Yankees can keep that Yankee weather up there. Not interested. So.
Stephen from Dutchy Cooking's in the house. Good to have Stephen. He's over in the United Kingdom, and little Eric's with us too. Little
Hi,
Eric's
Eric.
down in.
I love Eric.
Oh yeah, I do too. Let's see, he's doing some school work, he says. So hang in there, little buddy. We sure appreciate you, and appreciate you always being here with us. So good to have you. Let's see, Long's Quest. Good to have you with us. Who else just popped in here? I thought I just seen someone else. Anyway, that's okay. Well, how long have you been doing YouTube now?
I started YouTube in October of 2019.
2019. Wow. So not really that long.
No, not that long at all. I monetized in 9 months.
Wow.
So,
Rock on, rock star. Well, matter of fact, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and pull your channel up here so we can
Sure.
take a look at that and see what we've got going on. But here we go. So there's her home channel, home page, and everything. She's got a pretty nice little banner there. It says new videos 2 times a week, live cooking show Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I want to talk to you a little bit more about that here in just a minute, but we'll get to that. Let's see. It shows you got 1,940 plus subscribers, so that's pretty cool for just
I'm
little over.
actually 1 subscriber away from 1950. So
Yeah. Wow.
You'll get it today.
Let's see. Let me get little Eric's comment off there so I can see the screen a little better. Okay. Well, good deal. Well, we're rooting for you. Well, you'll get there in just before too long. But, yeah, it shows here you joined October the 8th, 2019. Says I have a live Saturday morning cooking show called What's on the Plate with Mama Z. Yeah, I got a chance to catch that yesterday, and I enjoyed that. Let's see. I want to get back to your videos real quick. Do you know which video is your most popular?
Yes, I do. Well, besides some shorts I've done, the most popular video itself is a venison video that I did in the air fryer that's had over 7,000 views.
Yeah.
It's not my best video, but YouTube keeps putting it out there.
Yeah.
And it was one of my earliest videos that I still had my camera duct taped to my wall. It was one of the first videos I put out there, and it's not one of my best videos.
Yeah.
But YouTube keeps putting it out there. It's an
Yeah.
you need an air fryer.
Oh, please. Everybody's keeping trying to get into my billfold, you know.
But you can get an inexpensive one for under $50, and I love my air fryer, and it's great. And I see that one right there. The amazing air fryer video. It's got over 7,000 views, and YouTube keeps pushing it out there. And I'm like, please, can you? I've got better videos, YouTube. Please stop pushing that one. But I've made the most money as far as my monetized
She just
videos
got
on that one.
1950 subs.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just
thank
teasing.
you.
I'm just teasing with you. That's a running joke with Cam and Teresa. They're always picking on me about air fryer and everything, and so.
But I have had, I've
He
had
just subbed her.
some of my shorts have passed that. Thank you, I appreciate that. But the little shorts, man, that I've gotten, over 100,000 views on some of these shorts, but of course those you don't get paid on those, but it's really helped grow my channel too. So.
Okay. Yeah, Teresa keeps telling me I need to do them, and I've done one, and I just hadn't been able to get into it for some reason. I don't know what's holding me back with it, but
you can see there. I did one that was I've done like one that was a cat video and stuff, but all the rest of my shorts, I've kept it relevant to my channel, and I think I've done a new channel. It's Mama Z's #shorts that I think once the new app gets here, because it's in beta right now, I think it will be relevant, and I want to be ahead of the curve, and it's all going to be relevant. And because I'm already monetized, I think it's going to be important, and it's a great way to grow your channel.
Right.
And it's all about marketing, and I'm very much have a marketing mindset. So.
Yeah. In the kitchen with Karen's in the house with us here.
Hey, Karen.
She has really done well with shorts, and I know Cam and Teresa. They do. I don't know if are they in here. Yeah, I see Cam V there. He is. So good to see you, buddy. We're just picking on you about that air fryer. Sorry.
He mentioned it up there.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're doing shorts and everything. He does some shorts on his. Cocktail a lot of. I don't think Teresa does any on her. Does she do any on her bacon? I can't remember, but anyway, yeah, Dutchy's doing some. He says shorts are great, but I don't know. I just hadn't been able to get on board for some reason. I don't know.
Kelly's Kitchen's working on it.
Huh?
Kelly's Kitchen.
Kelly's
She
Kitchen.
said she's done it once.
I've only tried air frying a couple times, but I'm working on it. Okay. Yeah, well, good to have you with us too, Kelly. There's a few people I hadn't acknowledged here, but we just want to welcome everybody here in the chat room with us and on the show. And we've got Misty with Mama Z's Texas Kitchen. And if you've not been over to her channel, I posted a link up in the chat room at the very top. You can go to that and click on her channel and go over and check her out. Check out some of these videos like we've got here on the screen. And if you like what you see, be sure and give her a like and a thumbs up and a comment on her videos. And if you like her channel, be sure and give her a sub and help her out there. And likewise, same with us. If you've not been to our channel yet, we'd certainly appreciate you checking us out, and we'd love to have you if you like what we're doing. So once again, now that we've got a bunch of people in the house here with us, I'm going to stop this screen here and come back over and pop something on the board here real quick. But last night we did an interview with Big Rob and Barbecue Pit Dog channel and Uncle Steve. And guys, if you're in the chat room here and you did not leave a comment on that video, whether you watched the video or not, I don't care, and it doesn't matter if you're from overseas or you're here in the States. We're gonna do this giveaway with Uncle Steve's Shake, and be sure and go over to that channel. Be sure and type in this phrase that's on the screen here. I want my hashtag Uncle Steve's Shake, and I'll come back in and acknowledge that with a comment on the video or a comment on your comment, and that'll enter you into the drawing, which will be on February the 14th. Valentine's Day. We're going to do a short live video, and we'll be picking the winner that night, and then I'll get in touch with Steve. He's going to give away 4 12-ounce bottles of Shake, and I'm telling you, I made a little short video today about ribeyes, and I used one of his shakes. We've used 2 or 3 of the other ones, but that one I used on the steaks today, and they were really good. So anyway, going to push that out.
Wings.
Yeah, you just did some on hot wings a while ago. That's right. So anyway, also let me run my email across here, folks. If hand me one of my stickers right over here, baby. Mama Z was just telling me she's got some stickers coming in, and
I do.
Let's see. Here we go. Where's it at? There we go. If you would like to do a sticker swap with me, my email's scrolling across the bottom. and we'll be happy to send you one of our new stickers and everything. Just send me an email and leave me your name and your full address and everything, and say I'd like to have a sticker. If you have stickers of your own, we'd love to do a swap. I'll give you my email address and address, and certainly appreciate that. But so I guess we got enough of the business out of the way there, Misty. We can truck on here if you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man. You was telling me off screen earlier that you originally started out more of a homesteading type, prepper type channel. Is that right, or following along that niche more or less than before food?
Well, it's a little bit of a story, but how it all started was I started watching some beauty influencers. One in particular named Raw Beauty Christie, and I had weight loss surgery in 2017, and I hadn't wore any kind of makeup for a long time until I lost 163 pounds.
Wow.
And
Congratulations.
and I was like, thank you. And I was like, I want to start wearing some makeup again, but I hadn't worn makeup since the 90s. So I started watching this one influencer, and I liked her. I liked her personality. She's fun, and then she was talking about this little farmer in Arkansas, and some of y'all may know her, named Jess from Roots and Refuge, and she was just enamored by her, and she said, y'all guys have got to go check her out. And Jess did, and I wrote the actual video down. The name of the video was Have You Stopped Dreaming? Are you waiting for God to fulfill your dreams? And I sat, and I'll tear up even thinking about it. I sat and just sobbed and sobbed for hours. And my husband's like, what in the Sam Hill? That's just not what he said, but what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I've stopped dreaming. I've done the same thing for years, and I don't dream anymore. I have no purpose. I was hurt on the job in 2005. I was a correctional officer, and I just kind of given up on everything that made me happy. I just had lost umph in my existence. I mean, yeah, I'd lost all this weight, but I wasn't doing anything for me. I worked for my church, but I didn't do anything that made me happy. I was working for everybody else's dreams, but not my own.
Yeah.
And I announced to him one day, it's like, I want to do YouTube. And he's like, what are you going to do on YouTube, Misty? And I'm like, I don't know. What am I going to do on YouTube? I can cook.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can cook. I love to cook. And so because of that video, and I've had a conversation and I've told Jess since then, I'm like, I started YouTube because of that video. Mm-hmm. And that's how it all started, because some little farmer in Arkansas asked the question, have you stopped dreaming?
Yeah.
And I have met some great people and made great friends in the homesteading community, even though I'm not a homesteading channel. I mean, I got a little garden out here outside my apartment window that I've grown food in, because a little farmer in Arkansas said, do you have dreams?
Yeah.
And that's how it started.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, because I think, of course, you look certainly a lot younger than we are, so
I am 47 years old.
I just had to say it that way, But no, seriously, I mean, life gets in the way with us sometimes. We have some rough things happen, and that was kind of something that linked you and I. We have a mutual, I don't even know how to say that, scenario, I guess. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about that in a minute. That's the reason why Teresa and I both have these Iowa shirts on. You had watched one of the videos that I created, yes, and left me a comment. But before we get into that, before we head down that, I want to get back to your website for just a minute, okay, and talk to you a little bit more about your Saturday morning show and the direction you're going on now. When did you start that, and why did you start that?
I started that almost from the beginning. When I'm looking at my husband, I started doing the Saturday live show almost from the beginning, didn't I? I mean, it was pretty early early on, I decided that I was going to do a live cooking demonstration. I am kind of a natural ham, I think, and I enjoy entertaining. And the whole concept behind that is, you remember the old Emerald shows where he would set people at his bar kind of table, and he would do his cooking show, and he would feed people. He'd set the food in front of them when he was cooking. I always kind of like that, and that's kind of how I want you to feel in my live cooking show. Is like if you were sitting at my bar and I was fixing that food for you.
Wow.
And that's if you were, and that's what I want my live shows to feel like. Like you were sitting in my kitchen and I was preparing that food for you.
Yeah. Well, I felt very comfortable there yesterday. I a lot of times my Saturdays are kind of shot, and Teresa and I, we were both doing something, and I was sitting in the chair, and I got an alert. I've got you set where I get all your alerts or notification, and I said, "Wow, Misty's on live." I said, "I'm gonna watch that real quick." So she did.
Hear it some, but
Yeah, she could hear a little bit, but she didn't.
Debbie
She didn't.
came.
She was tied up with. We have a little lady that I don't. Teresa, man, I'm just going to tell you guys, Teresa's about the biggest hearted person you'll ever meet, and we have some people that are less fortunate. Let me just say it that way. And we have a little lady that, well, she just took to us. We've got 2 or 3 really, but she just took to
no
Teresa,
family.
and well, and to me too. She loves me too. But anyway, every Saturday morning she wants to come over and have coffee. She just loves the way I make coffee. And so Teresa's always, taking them to the store and doing this and that and the other, everything she can for them. And so a lot of Saturday mornings are tied up for us. And then before long, when it warms up and we go to spread and fertilize for the farmers, I'll be tied up big time. I'll probably have to drop my Saturday night show and just do Sunday nights until we get caught up a little after July the 4th. But anyway, I felt real comfortable in your show and enjoyed that a lot.
Good.
I mean, it was very informative, and you just walked right through there. And you got who does your camera work for you?
Well, it's definitely a family deal. It's my daughter Kendra. She's a college student. She's 20, and then my husband. We, between the 3 of us, we try to. We set up the tripods and just let it kind of roll, and between the 3 of us we try to get it done. So
Yeah. Well, you had pointed out something that someone had turned you on to a little arm like deal that did overhead shots where you could hold your camera.
that was Sherry from over at Two Family Homestead. She had found it on Amazon, and it is actually we hooked it up to the cabinet. If you walked into my house, it looks like a YouTube studio. It's ridiculous. Well, it's an apartment. We live in an apartment, so I don't have a regular looking apartment. Nothing ever gets put up as far as what it looks like when we're not shooting versus, I mean, my camera, my lights right here, my cam lights, nothing gets put up. It just looks like a YouTube studio all the time. But
Yeah.
we, in the real world, we're not the most entertaining people. People don't come over at our house. So we don't ever put anything up. It's just, it looks like a YouTube studio all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So has that been pretty successful for you then, doing that every Saturday?
Yeah, it really has, and I enjoy it. It's been a lot of fun. For a while, when I was trying to get our hours, I was up to 3 lives a week there for a while.
Wow.
And it was exhausting.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot to this. There
Yeah.
really is, putting it together and
Well,
trying to
when
hold
you're
it
doing
together.
a cooking show, it was getting
Yeah.
expensive. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you, it was expensive to do that too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What do you guys record with?
I laid it out. I'm glad you asked. I've got a Canon Rebel. This is a TI.
Mm-hmm.
And then I use my cell phone for my overhead. I left it over there. It's just it's a cheap Samsung. We're use Walmart Family Mobile, so it's just a cheap. I think I paid $100 for it, and then I've got a webcam that I use for my third camera. But that's so I can get three angles, and then I edit with Power Director.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of microphone are you guys using? Do you use just a regular microphone, or do you have a external? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't even know what brand it is. I bought it off Amazon, so.
Yeah.
But I use that for my live stream and for my recording for my videos.
Eric's asking a question.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, yeah.
I had some terrible audio problems last night, but we got it solved tonight. So, but yeah, external mics are wonderful. Cam and Teresa popped a question in here and said, "I've heard the lives don't count as views, but I don't know if that's true. Since you just mentioned that, do those views in your live count?"
Absolutely.
Yes, they absolutely do. Yeah, they will help you reach your 4,000 watch hours, Teresa.
In fact, lives count more than anything else do.
Yeah.
And that's why when I was getting monetized, I was running 3 lives a week, because they count even more than just regular videos do. So if you've got your subs and you're needing extra views and stuff, run lives until you get monetized. Absolutely. That's why I monetized in 9 months.
Yeah. Patty Jones from Australia is in the house with us. Good to have you, Patrick. And I don't know if I missed anybody else here. I didn't acknowledge Allie Oakley. Good to have you with us here.
Allie.
Yeah. Have you got your comments turned on, Misty? Can you see them?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, cool.
I want to throw something out, if you don't mind, because I keep seeing this a lot with small channels. And if you're trying to grow your channel, I see this a lot. And like I told you, I have a kind of a marketing mindset. I keep seeing it over and over. Well, I don't go support big channels, and I'm just all about the little YouTuber and all this stuff. I am begging you guys, if you want to grow your channel, if you don't ever care about being a bigger channel, then what I say, completely disregard what I'm fixing to say to you. If you want to be a bigger channel, if you ever want to be a big channel, go watch what the big guys do. Go comment on the big channels. The reason I say that is because the big guys have broke the code, right? They have figured YouTube out. Don't copy them, don't mimic, but go see what they're doing, because they figured YouTube out, right? They know what YouTube is looking for. They have figured the algorithm out. So what I go do is, like on Paula Deen or Sam the Cooking Guy or these big guys, I will go anytime these big guys put out a new video, I'm commenting on their videos. Why? Because somebody's going to say, "Who's Mama Z's Texas Kitchen?"
Yeah, exactly.
People are going to go check me out.
And that's true, and I'm glad you brought that up. In the same way with on a live like this, I leave the chat section up when YouTube renders the video once the live stream is done. It usually takes anywhere from 12 to 24 hours, and sometimes less. It just depends, I guess. But it's been running about 12 hours for me. And once that renders, then the chat button comes back up on the actual video page. And so, if you've seen people in the chat room and you forgot to write their channel name down. Now, years ago, you used to could right click on their channel name and it would take you to their page, but YouTube's taken that out. That doesn't work like that anymore. And for whatever reason, I guess they had problems or something, and they eliminated that. But anyway, once the live chat comes back up after the video has been rendered, you can go back through the live and follow along in the chat room, and you can find those channels again, and you can go check them out. Absolutely. And I certainly highly recommend you doing that. But what she was saying, what Misty was saying, I've done this a bunch, and I still do. I go over, not with just the intention, of saying, hey, if you'll come over to my channel and subscribe to me, not sub for sub, go over and say, hey, if you'll subscribe to me, I'll subscribe to you. No, go over and leave some valuable content. If somebody asks a question on one of those channels, because I'm going to tell you, the bigger you get, it's harder to answer a lot of the questions that you get on comments. And so those questions are left out there wide open. So you can walk in there, watch the video. If you scroll down through the comments and you see some questions that hadn't been asked, and you know the answer, then leave a comment. And not expecting anybody to come over and sub, but I'm just telling you, over time, people do come over and say, hey, I seen you over on, such and such, and I appreciate you answering me. I've had someone in here, I don't know if they're in the chat room now, but I had a guy ask me a cast iron question one time, and he said he asked the exact same question on 3 different cast iron channels, and he said I was the only one that answered him. And so he subscribed to me, So people are just looking for real people. They're looking for people that, are willing to socialize with you more or less, or, develop some type of rapport with you in a relationship. And that's what it's all about. It's a community, family.
Absolutely. And here's another thing. Go make yourself like you were saying, go make yourself useful. I moderate for some big channels in the homesteading community. I moderate for Stivers Homestead. I moderate for Two Family Homestead. I moderate for Big Bear Homestead.
Yeah.
These are big homesteads. Make yourself useful in these live streams. Guess what? If you're a moderator for some of these bigger channels, people like, oh, well, they're somebody, lack of a better way to put it, and make yourself useful into these bigger channels, and people, that makes you known.
Yeah.
And it's all about networking. It's all about networking. This is a networking game. So I see that a lot, in the community, and I've had people say that, well, I don't go follow these big channels and all this stuff, and you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, excuse me. That kind of answers a question that I was getting ready to ask you, but I know, of course, being a a food channel more or less, I know you have other types of channels that you probably watch, and I'm going to say it's got to be homesteading then.
It is, but I also I like money channels. I watch Meet Kevin. If y'all know who he is, he's a financial guy. I enjoy that. You've heard me talk about Rob Beauty Christie, Jamie French. There's some of the beauty people I like to watch. Mrs. M. Believe it or not, I like Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the #1 dude on YouTube. I actually enjoy watching Mr. Beast.
Well, going back to what you were saying earlier, you can learn, you can pick up little tricks here and think, well, how are they doing this? And, you can pick up little tricks from all these guys that are doing it, because like
Nick
you say.
Nimmin.
Yeah.
Nick Nimmin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Daryl Eves.
Yeah.
Those guys are great if you want to learn how to do YouTube.
Yeah, sure are. All right. Well, how do you generally come up with your recipes? Is it something that you grew up cooking? Is it something that you make for your family? Is it something that you've seen another cooking show
yes.
possibly put it on and you think, well, I'm going to do my version of it? Or how do you normally formulate your recipes?
All the above. My mother is a phenomenal cook. And my grandmothers were phenomenal cooks. I was absolutely blessed with the most amazing. Okay, a little bit of backstory. I grew up in a 500 people town in North Texas, a little town called Newcastle. Literally, when people talk about, I grew up in a small town of 80,000. I grew up in a town of 500 people. In a farm ranching community, had 16 kids in my graduating class. Wow. And the school building was literally K through 12, one building, right? Junior high and high school was one end and the elementary was on the other. We played six-man football, the whole 9 yards. You talk country, I grew up country. My dad always grew a huge garden. My grandfather, my dad's mom, was a black eyed pea farmer, had goats, chickens, the gamut. So, both grandmothers were phenomenal cooks. Canned, did all this stuff. I am a mediocre cook compared to them. And so I have a very rich history of cooking. When I was probably in my 30s, I realized that if I didn't pick up the mantle, that all those skills were going to die with my mother and my grandmother,
Right.
and so I started on a quest of wanting to learn to can. And that's how the jelly business started, but I didn't want those skills to die with my grandmothers and my mother.
Yeah.
And the gardening, I was like, this stuff is going to go away if I don't pick up the mantle.
Right.
And I truly believe that that we're all, that's the whole homesteading movement, right? That we're all kind of being called back to the land. The broken food system, and when I lost my weight, I started looking into the food and how bad the food system is.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, and I live in a town that started out 80,000 people when we moved, 30,000 people when we moved here, is to over 100,000 people now that I absolutely detest.
Yeah, I know. I lived in the suburbs of Dallas for a long time, and then when I moved back home, when my mom and dad were toward the end of their latter years, and then they both, eventually passed away. But I just stayed here, and if I hadn't, I wouldn't have met Mrs. C.I. here. How about that? I'll tell y'all a little funny story about me and Teresa. I lived 2 houses down, just around the corner here, 2 houses, and we lived beside each other here for 8 years and never knew each other. Never even
In this little town.
in this little town, and this town's 3,700
I
population.
did talk to you on the phone once.
And she talked
but I
to
didn't
me.
like you.
She don't like me now,
No, not really. I love him, but I don't like him.
We're just but that is true. And I'm the baby of the family of 6, and I come out of an older family. My oldest brother's 21 years older than me, and then we range anywhere between that. And my mom and dad grew up during the Depression. My dad went to the Second World War. He was a prisoner of war, the Second World War. Wow. And so when he come home, and we all were taught to raise a garden. We all had to work in a garden and can food and everything. And Teresa will testify to this, that, when we met, I raised a garden before I ever met her. Over where I lived, and then of course when we got together we raised one for a good while. And now since I've changed the job that I'm working now, I haven't really had time in the summer, because it's like a pet or a child. You gotta take care of that garden almost every day. So
Absolutely.
But he had me canning, and oh my goodness.
Yeah. But there's a lot of people that if they don't follow some kind of prepping channels or homesteading channels or something like that, or if they didn't have a grandmother that or even a mother or whatever, and dad that taught them, a lot of that stuff, people just don't know how. They think everything comes from the grocery store, and that's just
chocolate milk comes from brown cows, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's the craziest thing, I never understood how a brown cow can eat green grass and give you white milk, so go figure. But Eric says, wait, no one going to talk about Uncle Mike singing today? Oh, you had to bring that up, didn't you? Yeah, well, hey,
My
and his
folks, beard. My folks still live on the 15-acre farm up in North Texas. They're taking care of my 90-year-old grandmother. And, I still would love to go back up there and, and we may, before it's all over. I'm planting my garden right now. My apartment complex thankfully lets me grow in grow bags, and I've already got we're working on the starts, and I'm going to focus on tomatoes and peppers and that kind of stuff this year. That you know,
Yeah.
my parents, got us this for our anniversary, the little freezer, because, you know, and I belong on an episode of The Hoarders compared to the stuff that I've prepped. We're fixing to get rent a storage unit here at the apartments just to, you know, 2020 has been shown us just how crazy things have been and how crazy things could get. So
Yeah, that's no doubt. Hey guys, I'll tell you what, I just want to mention real quick in the chat room, you know, if you didn't get the chance to see the interview that I had with Big Rob and Uncle Steve last night, be sure and go back over to that channel. Steven's running the link in the chat room there. Whether you watched it or whatever, it doesn't matter, but we've got Uncle Steve going to do a giveaway. He's going to give away about 4 bottles of his shake. I'm going to do a live show on Valentine's Day, February the 14th, and we're going to pick someone out of the comment section there. And so go over there and just enter this phrase here I've got on the screen. I want my hashtag Uncle Steve Shake. Put that in a comment, and I'll be sure to acknowledge that, and that enters you into the contest to win, you know, a generous gift from Uncle Steve. So we certainly appreciate that, guys. And like I said, if you hadn't been over to Misty's channel, be sure and go over and check her out. Be sure and check her videos out. Give her a like and a thumbs up. And if you like what she's doing, be sure and subscribe and show her some love. If you've never been there before, just tell her you seen her over there on old Skillet Head's channel, Mr. Cast Iron. So we appreciate that. Well, hey, Misty, I know we're out here just barely 7 days into February. It's not far from the first of the year. We all have goals and plans. What kind of short-term goals and long-term goals do you see for your channel?
Oh, short-term goals. I would love to, by the end of the year, hit 5,000. And I know you're like, wow, but I monetized in 9 months. So if I've hit 2,000 in a little over a year, you know, I'm knocking on the door of 2,000. At the end of the year, I would like to be at 5. At 5 years, I would like to be at 10,000. And I really think, or even bigger, because, you know, at 10,000 you can get the merch shelf, and I really look at my channel as a business opportunity. I love you, Dee. Dee, Nestle, and C is one of my best friends in the entire world. Back in September, my husband and I flew out to CD and then drove down to Elberton, Georgia, to Big Bear Homestead and spent the weekend. And it was a great time. But Dee is by far probably one of my best friends in the
Well, certainly glad to have you here with us and joining in and giving support to Misty. So appreciate that.
She's a nurse. She's a frontline worker. So
wow.
I love her and Chris, her and her husband to death. So
yeah, thank you for your service, what you're doing for everybody.
Absolutely, y'all go love on her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, cool. Hey, I'll tell you what. Let's take and turn a corner here. We've been talking a little bit about YouTube. You know, I'd like to. We've talked a little bit about your video equipment and different things like that. What was one of your most fun videos you had creating?
Oh my gosh, we had so much fun making all of them. It's hard. I've got that question, and I don't know because they're all fun. And I don't know. I'm looking at my husband. What do you think is probably one of the funnest videos that we did? Because he's so behind the scenes, but he's part of all of them.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let him think about that.
Yeah. I don't know. We have fun making all of them. So.
Yeah. What was one that was really hard to make?
Oh gosh. What was one that was hard to make that? What were we doing? Yeah, I know which. What did we do? Was it the crab ragoon? That one was hard though because I tried to do too much. Probably that crab ragoon that I did 3 ways because I tried to do too much in one video, and I wanted to do it 3 ways, and then that one was probably hard because I tried to put too much in one video.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
That was probably.
She said how she got that. She already said that, didn't she? How she became Mama Z.
Yeah. Darnell, I guess he didn't hear this, but he was asking how you got tagged Mama Z.
Yeah, it was a friend of mine gave me that name. It was my jelly business name.
Yeah. They're picking on me a little bit here. I need a little help, somebody.
Eric said
My
you're
own
very...
wife, you know. I
No,
told
it
you
was
she didn't
Eric.
like me.
This was
Oh.
Eric's fault.
Oh, Eric did that? You're going to blame it on
Yeah,
a 6-year-old kid?
Yeah.
My goodness.
He said you were entertaining.
Hey, what's one of your favorite things to cook with or cook on?
Oh, probably. Oh, man, my favorite is probably either my smokeless grill or my air fryer.
Air fryer.
Air fryer, yeah, I know.
Or the Instapot, man. Any of my gadgets, I love all 3 of those.
Yeah.
Any of the gadgets, man. If it ever come down to the, the crap hits the fan situation and we lose power, I better have solar because if I lost my gadgets, I'd just be screwed.
Well, that's what I love about cast iron. See, I can build a fire and throw a cast iron skillet out there, and I'm good to go.
Exactly.
So, you know,
we were talking about that last night because when we lived in our other house before we moved into the apartment, it had gas. I said that was a better scenario because this place is all electric, and we would be screwed here. I hate it. This was probably the dumbest thing we ever did moving in this apartment because it's all electric, and I've never lived in an apartment before,
Yeah.
and I hate it. I hate people walking on my head. I sound awful. I don't
Yeah.
hate kids. There's a lot of kids here, and they're loud and they're obnoxious.
Well, yeah, I know it's different living in an apartment
I'm
like
just
that.
a small town girl, and there's just too many people, and that's.
Yeah, I understand that. Hey, what's
Samantha, just say hi.
Oh
to
yeah,
Say
Samantha.
hi to
Hello,
her.
Samantha. How are you doing? Glad to have you with us. What's your favorite, breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Breakfast for dinner.
Breakfast for dinner? Yeah.
Or supper.
Yeah.
We tend to say supper.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, you're right. All right. Well, you like breakfast for supper then?
Yeah.
What do you generally make?
Biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, that's what you did on your Saturday show. That was good. I noticed that was just 2-ingredient biscuits, right?
Yes, and that is so easy to make. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, and they were so good.
Yeah.
Lord, they were so good.
Do you make your own butter?
I have.
Yeah.
I have done that. If I had
Yeah.
my own cow, I would do it all the time, but
Yeah.
that's a little expensive to buy. But I drink heavy cream in my coffee.
Yeah.
That's what I drink. I don't put sugar in my coffee. I just drink heavy cream in my coffee.
Yeah.
I was
What's
doing
your
that.
huh?
I was doing that. Yeah.
What? Yeah, Teresa was too. But what's your favorite food to cook?
My homemade version of green chili enchiladas.
Green chili enchiladas.
Yes, it is unique to me. It is a completely made up recipe for green chili enchiladas.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know you told us earlier about losing quite a bit of weight and everything, so you probably don't have a favorite junk food, do you?
Actually, I do. It's it's Slim Jim's beef jerky.
Slim Jim beef jerky. Wow, that's cool. Do you make your own jerky?
I have, I have, and I've got a dehydrator that I make beef jerky with.
Yeah.
Do what? Oh, gee, you are so wrong. You were
What
so
happened?
wrong.
Oh yeah, let's talk plant butter. Let's talk about butter
It's
with Misty.
not plant butter. It's margarine. I get on a rant.
Yeah, I
it's
don't-
not. She knows. She knows.
I like that regular full fat butter. You know,
it's if you're gonna eat butter. Don't eat
That's right.
margarine. They get me going on it because I will scream at the TV when that stupid, oh, it's so good for you. Look,
Yeah.
they're sitting out in a field, and they make you think it's all good for you because they're sitting out in a field, and it's plant butter. It's made from plants. No, it's not. It's margarine. If you're going to eat margarine, just go buy 79-cent margarine, for crying out loud.
Leanne's up in Canada. She says she's going to have to try biscuits and gravy. Yeah, if you've never had it, I mean,
for
it's
goodness sakes. Yes.
you know, it's
And
just
use real butter. Don't use
real butter and flour, and you know, it's all good for you. A little bacon grease and flour to make the gravy. So I mean, you can't beat that. Little full fat sausage, you know, and I mean, you just can't beat all that. You know, artery clogging cholesterol plate full.
True
Makes your middle
True
round.
story. I eat full fat everything, and I just had my cholesterol checked, and it's perfect.
Yeah, I know. I'm just teasing. I've eaten it all my life. Matter of fact, I had a grandmother. I tell this story every now and then. Years ago, I've been a long haul truck driver for most of my life, you know, and I would run coast to coast. And my grandmother lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and she lived to be 96 and a half years old before she passed away. And she lived by herself till she was 94. And a lot of times I would load going to California, and I would stop in Phoenix and spend the night with her. And she would get up every morning at 4 o'clock, and she wanted to make a full breakfast for me, you know. And I got out there one day, and she had been to the doctor, and she was all upset. And she said, "Michael, this doctor's telling me I've got to quit eating sausage, and I've got to quit eating this and quit eating eggs. And I've been doing this all my life, and I'm not going to stop now." And I said, "I don't blame you, Grandma. I wouldn't do it either." So,
Nope. You live to that age. You eat what my little grandfather, before he passed away, was
Thank you,
94 years old, and he ate bacon and eggs and sausage till the day that
Yeah.
they laid that man low. And
Yeah.
he had his mind. He was a farmer, hard worker, you know.
Yeah. Well, how about ice cream then? If you like, you got a junk food. Have you? Do you go that far, or
We
maybe yogurt or
occasionally-
something?
We occasionally eat. Well, you saw my husband before the show with
I know,
ice cream.
yeah.
Occasionally, I'll have a bite of ice cream. What was that one? Hot fudge? Yeah. Mexican hot chocolate ice cream. That one was pretty good. I had a bite of that. There's Copper Kettle Farm.
Yeah, good to
that's
have
my-
you with us.
That's my friend Crystal up there in Gettysburg. She is an excellent marketing expert. She does web design.
Write her name down.
We'll go back.
Yeah.
She's pretty brilliant when it comes to all that stuff. Check her out.
Yeah, good to have you with us.
But
And I'm going to throw another plug out there. You know, guys, we've got a running giveaway between now and the 14th of this month, Valentine's Day. If you've not checked out the last live interview we had with Big Rob, the barbecue pit dog, and Uncle Steve from Uncle Steve's Shake, be sure and go over and leave a comment in the video that says, "I want my hashtag Uncle Steve's Shake," and that'll enter you in to win a very nice giveaway for giveaway for some Uncle Steve's Shake. And we appreciate that. So, you know, all these new folks, I like to mention this too. Whether you've watched the video or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're overseas or you're here in the States. Everyone's welcome. We're going to, we've agreed to be able to ship this out, even if it's someone overseas in the UK or Australia or Ireland or wherever you may be. So, certainly appreciate that. And you need more?
Coffee, guys.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you drink coffee?
I have a problem.
Yeah, I do too.
Dee is forever saying me to drink
Yeah.
some water.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're bumping right up against an hour, and I don't want to keep you too long. I wanted to just kind of get to know you a little bit better, and Teresa and I both wore matching shirts for a reason. I told her about you watching one of my videos,
Yeah, I
that
wanted to talk
something
about
that happened to me, and many of the people in the chat room have watched this video, but it's the name of the video on my channel is called "You Are My Answered Prayer," and it's about me finding my son after 35 years. He was adopted out without my knowledge. You just have to go watch it, if you will. And but anyway, Misty reached out to me, and I'm just going to leave it right there and let you talk as much or little as you want to
Okay.
on that subject.
Yeah, I had talked. I just kind of poked it a little bit on my Saturday show too, because I wanted to talk about it here. I was adopted when I was 3 years old out of the Texas welfare system. My parents who adopted me, wonderful people. My birth mother was 15 when she had me, and she died when I was a year old, and of a drug overdose. I know who she is. Her name was Cynthia Lorraine Kilsby, and I did a DNA test this last year, and I've actually have Facebook met some of her relatives. They had no knowledge of me whatsoever. And what would have been my biological grandfather died in 2005, and he either took the knowledge of me to the grave or he didn't know anything about me. So they all live in Houston, and he had come back to Houston right after I guess my grandmother and his divorce. So and my mother's death. So he either had no knowledge of me or it was too painful to talk about.
Right.
So, so none of them have any knowledge of my birth father at all. And there is nothing showing up on Ancestry DNA for any potential siblings. Now, there are some cousins that are dinging that wouldn't be on a mother's side. So the only thing that maybe is making sense, she had told the CPS, because CPS took me when I was about 3 months old, because she was so young and there were drugs involved and all this kind of stuff. She was a baby. She was a baby. I mean, she was 15 years old. It was 1973.
Right.
And all the records I read, she wanted to be a mother. She didn't have the tools to be a mother at 15.
Yeah. Right.
And, she didn't have a mother figure that was worth a darn in her own life. But she told them that my biological father was in the Air Force in Abilene. And it may have been, back then, it wasn't, I've seen a picture of her now. For years, I didn't know what she looked like. Through Ancestry.com, I have seen a picture of her, which is what I wanted. It's hard growing up and not knowing what you looked like.
Right.
And, not having any understanding or who do I look like? My parents ended up having a child after they adopted me. Chris looks just like, my folks, but who do I look like? Type thing. That's a hard thing to grow up with. And so now I have people, now that I've met cousins that I look like. So that's been really cool. Which, that was something with you guys. Your son looks just like you.
Yes.
So that was really cool to see. But when I saw your story, I have to admit that I teared up, because it makes me wonder, is there a man out there that who has been looking for me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know it's tough.
So, but because that's what my hope was, that when I did the DNA test, that there would be a match. So far, there hasn't been, but because that was the Vietnam era, there's always a possibility that he was killed in the war.
Yeah.
because there's just nothing, and there hasn't been a direct sibling connection either. So,
Well,
I'm not giving up hope, and I have to, seeing that absolutely gave me hope that,
yeah.
I would just love answers. I would like to know who he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know how. I mean, I can only imagine and assume. I feel for you. I can imagine how hard that would be. I know how hard this situation with me has been. 35 years, and I lay it all out on the line in that video.
Yeah.
Teresa was recording me the whole time we drove up to Iowa. The picture I just showed on the screen was the very moment we met, very first time. We had pictures of him after going through the whole process of the DNA thing and contacting and everything. Well, that was the actual initial in-person contact there, and we still maintain a relationship. We talk on the phone and text back and forth and different things.
And with his mama.
And with his mom
We
too,
love
his
her.
adoptive
We love
mom.
both of them, but yeah,
And
we love
his adoptive dad passed away back a year ago. And but anyway, I know how hard this would be for you, and I my heart goes out to you, and I just want to say, our hearts and our prayers go for you, and I just pray that, that God, because it's been an answered prayer. I titled that video for that reason, because he was my answered prayer, and it was something that, I never would have neglected him if I would have known, and I didn't know. And so once I did have knowledge of it, it was too late. And of course, as I lay it out in that video, back there in those days, we didn't have the technology that we do today. So there was very little way of doing any legwork as far as trying to find him like we can now. The internet has really, sped those things up quite a bit for us. And so, I just want to encourage you, don't give up. Keep praying. Keep trusting the good Lord to lead and guide you. He knows your heart. He knows it better than anyone. And he knows, that emptiness. He knows that pain. And he knew mine. And, for whatever reason why it took 35 years, I have no idea. But I'm just thankful that I finally got, some closure on that. And my prayer is for you, is that God will bless you with closure there too. So if you've done the DNA test and everything, you've got some close hits, some close matches there with markers, reach out to them folks and just try to go from there. And if they're not on your mother's side, then they certainly, have to be coming from your dad's side somewhere. And maybe somewhere along the line, at the perfect time, the right time, you'll reach that one person and it'll make a change. And that's what happened to us. As I tell in this story, we were driving to my sister-in-law's funeral when this come up. Teresa was in the back seat. I had my sister next to me driving. I was driving, and Teresa was on the phone in the back seat talking to one of her aunts about a situation that was very similar to this. Her son was a manager of a Walmart, and he had a couple young guys working for him that ended up doing tests, and they didn't even realize they were brothers. And it come to find out, once the DNA come in, they realized who they were. They realized they were brothers. And, when Teresa was telling that story to my sister, me and my sister, I said, well, that sounds kind of like me. And my sister said, well, what are you talking about? And I said, well, didn't you know? And she said, what? And I said, well, didn't you know I had a son somewhere when I was 18 years old? Actually, I was 20. It happened in 1984. And she said, no, I didn't have a clue, Michael. So anyway, that's how it started out. And she's a very big genealogy buff. And so anyway, we drove on to Kansas City, went to the funeral, and drove back home here to Arkansas. And as soon as we got home, Marilyn started getting into her genealogy stuff, and it just, the bell went off. She thought she would check into it, and come to find out there was a person, didn't have a picture or whatever. It was just a blue dot popped up, and you knew it was a male. And he would have been about that age, and it showed that he was, according to the DNA markers, he was close enough to her to be her grandson. So she knew he was very close. And so she called me at work and said, hey, I just want to tell you about this. And, there's someone here that's probably closer than my grandson in in DNA. And I said, well, I'm all set to do a DNA test so we can find out. I said, that's the only way we're going to find out. So lo and behold, I sent off for the kit. I did the DNA test. It took 6 weeks, and we got the answer back, and it come back 100% positive that he was my son. So we put in the progress there of reaching out to him and trying to set up a way of being able to contact him. And so my prayer is that happens for you. I pray you get that closure, because it was a real big relief off of me. It was a big hole in my heart that actually was filled because I carried that around with me, for many, many years, and it was tough. So don't give up.
Thank you. I don't think people understand, and it doesn't matter. Just like with your son, it doesn't matter how good your parents are. I love my mom and daddy are always be my mom and daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't change how amazing my parents are. I mean, they'll always be my mom and daddy.
Right.
But there's something, there's so many questions that you need to know. You need to. You just it's undescribable. All I ever needed, I knew that Cindy was dead. I knew that my biological mother was dead. I needed a picture. I needed to look at her picture to see her face, to see what it was that I needed to look in her eyes to see if she looked like me.
Right.
And I couldn't describe that to anybody. So I completely understand, Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try to turn the page here and kind of lift the spirits up a little bit. You got me up. I mean, you're making my eyes water. And what is something that no one would know about you or would ever believe?
Oh, gosh. Let's see. I used to drive a truck.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
A big truck?
Yes, 18-wheeler.
Did you really? Well,
I
that's
did.
cool. Yeah, I did too. Well, I still do, I guess.
I was in corrections for 14 years, and in between that, I took a little bit of a break, and I decided I was going to drive an 18-wheeler because my dad was a truck driver, and he loved it. He loved being on the road, and I was a bit of a rebel. I don't think y'all would believe that about me. And I just, I always hated the society norms,
Right.
I never fit in that box well of, girls can't do this stuff. When I was in junior high, girls can't play football. Really? I could place kick better than the boys could. We would meet every Sunday, and play football, and I could kick field goals better than the boys could out on the football field. The coach always told me, "Missy, if you weren't a girl,"
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
So I went and worked in corrections because that was a guy's job, and then I decided I was going to drive a truck because that's what my daddy did, and I was going to be good at that, and then. Then I went back to corrections when I had my daughter and, settled down, and so.
Yep. Wow. What was your CB handle?
I don't even remember now. Oh my God.
Probably Mama Z.
Probably Mama Z, yeah.
No, it wasn't Mama Z. I don't remember now.
What's that?
Roy says, I was in corrections too, with the emphasis in corrections. Good to have you, Roy. That's my buddy down in Florida. You got to keep both eyes on him. He's something else. But we're about ready to call it a show. He's coming in here the last couple minutes, That's how he just pops in on me. So,
charcuterie board we're going to read on.
Yeah, I got to pull something up
whenever
here.
you talk about Uncle Steve's again.
Let's see if Teresa sent
You
me
don't have
something
I
here.
drove for CRST.
Just when you go to
Yeah.
Yep.
Cedar Rapids Transit.
I got a question.
Where'd
Has
you send that to me?
right there.
Yeah, I didn't do it for long. I
Don't
only
worry about
drove
it.
for
It's
about
alright.
8 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
I sent it to Green Acres Place.
Trying to find something here, but I can't find it.
That's
Anyway.
okay.
Anyway.
Hey,
I
ask them how to. Noah and Mr. Ronnie got pheasants and quail today. Ask if she's ever cooked any quail or pheasants. Like
Oh,
that.
have you ever cooked any
Yes.
wild game like pheasant,
Yes.
quail, deer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, my biggest video was
Yeah, I know.
cooking venison.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've deer hunt. I
yeah.
used to deer hunt when I was younger.
Cool.
I grew up in Texas. Of course,
of course.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, listen, I've got 2 more questions for you, and we're
Okay.
going to call it good so everybody can get to the
big game?
the big game. What's the kickoff and everything? I just got to ask, since you was in the corrections, were you? Well, I guess 3 questions. Were you there in Huntsville?
No, actually, I was at the John R. Lindsay State Jail in Jacksboro. It was a state jail facility, and then I went to the Gainesville State School and worked for TYC.
Okay. All right. Well, if you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you had done?
Probably pissed off a politician.
Uh-oh.
I have a nasty
Okay.
habit of yelling at politicians on Twitter, and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter which political party, because I go after. Twitter is, don't follow me on Twitter, because Twitter is my. I tend to tell politicians off on Twitter, and it doesn't matter which political party. I will. That is my go-to place that I tell all of them. I think they're.
You
full
better go
of it.
to the next question.
Okay, next question. Teresa said, Miss C.I. said we better chill out a little bit here. So,
Yeah,
but
don't follow me on Twitter.
yeah, that is another question that I want to ask. That we certainly appreciate you being here with us. Is how can what would you want to say to our audience here in the chat room, or also to your subscribers and everything before we go? Would you have anything you'd like to say to everyone?
If you have a dream, don't be afraid to follow it. If you want to do YouTube, pick up a camera and start filming. And you're never too old to get started. And don't let somebody tell you you can't do it. When I first started doing YouTube, I literally had people laugh at me and said, why? Why would you want to put yourself out there like that? Don't let people do that to you. Are you going to probably make a fool of yourself? Sure. But honestly, who gives a crap?
Right.
You know what? Who cares? It is
Yeah.
your life. Don't be afraid to follow your dreams. Just like Jess from Recent Refuge said, have you stopped dreaming? If the answer to that question is yes, then ask yourself why.
Yeah.
Life is too short. Pick up a camera and start filming yourself,
Yeah.
because we only get one shot at this.
Yeah. It's a lot of
No,
fun to do,
sure.
actually. Yeah. Well, we certainly appreciate that. How can our audience follow you?
You can follow me on Facebook. I have Mama Z's Texas Kitchen on Facebook. That is honestly the best way to follow me besides YouTube. Follow me on Facebook. I've got Mama Z's Texas Kitchen is my main channel. I also have Mama Z hashtag shorts is my shorts channel. I'm just getting that started, where I'm going to be putting a lot of these shorts on it. But those are the main ways to follow me. And
Okay.
I am on Instagram as well. I don't do as much with my Instagram. I've got to get better about that. I do also have a TikTok channel.
Okay, great. Well, I just want to say here before we go one last time, if you've not been over to see our live stream last night with Big Rob, a barbecue pit dog, and Uncle Steve's shake, be sure and go over to that video and leave this comment in the comment section. I want my hashtag Uncle Steve's shake, and that will enter you in a drawing. We're going to draw this. It's for 4 bottles of Uncle Steve's shake. And I'm telling you, we've been using that shake, and it's really good. It's really good stuff. Teresa made some hot wings earlier with it and put some stuff on it. I cooked a steak and made a video today, some ribeyes, and man, I tell you what, it's really good. Made me want to dance and sing. You know, that's how good it was. But anyway, yeah, go over and leave a comment. I mean, everyone, whether you're here in the States or you're in Canada or anywhere overseas, everyone, whether you've watched the video or not, it doesn't matter. Just go over and leave a comment on that video and say, I want my hashtag Uncle Steve Shake, and that will enter you in the contest, and we'll be doing a live drawing on Valentine's Day the 14th. Guys, we appreciate everyone here in the chat room. You've been a lot of fun. Misty, you've been a real good guest. We've enjoyed interviewing you, and we wish you all the best on your venture, trying to find some things there, and also on your channel. And we just want to tell everybody we appreciate you being here. Thank you. You guys enjoy the game, and we'll be seeing you guys before too long. It's Mike and Mrs. Cast Iron over here. Mr. Cast Iron, we'll see you later. Y'all have a great day.